I've got a story to share. So I managed to catch this film in Chicago. Brought a bunch of furries because it was literally just the same weekend as MFF, and I was like, okay, I'm down. And then it was playing again in Seattle, and I was like, okay, I gotta catch it one more time. I gotta do this again. So I brought some people down from Vancouver because it's a 3-hour drive from Vancouver to Seattle. And so I brought my roommate Gaël, who you might remember from the brownie incident. And so Gaël, his place of birth is Lebanon, and so he's used to, I guess, not having the easiest time at border crossings because customs is going to be like, or the custom agents are going to see like, oh, young man who is from Lebanon and looks like a terrorist sort of
Totally
thing, right?
random
So he already
spot
kind of has
check.
like a tough time. So I give him a ride down to Seattle. It's the first time I have my Nexus card, which is kind of like a, like a fast pass, sort of like skip the security lines thing at airports. And you can also have a special line at the land border crossing, but I didn't take it because everybody in your car has to have one. And so go through the land border crossing to Seattle. It's fine. No issues. Watch the movie. I crashed in Seattle. I spent the night there because I wanted to have drinks at the show. I didn't want to drive back after drinking or whatever. And Gaël had work in the morning, and so he's like, okay, well, I'm gonna catch there was a bus called the Bolt bus, which I guess isn't running anymore post-COVID, but this was pre-COVID. And it was just like a $40. It was like pretty fucking cheap. You could catch a bus like from Seattle to Vancouver. It was nice. And so he went back by himself. And what he tells me about going back to Vancouver is they kind of grilled him at the border crossing. So, everybody on the bus has to go through the border crossing. They ask you questions. Sometimes I've been asked, like, what's a furry or whatever, if I'm going to a convention. They're asking him why he was there. He's like, oh, to see a movie. And they say, what was the movie about? So I want both of you right now. Imagine you were getting asked by customs, what is this movie about? And I want you to give your best answer right now.
Officer, you got it. You can take me.
Arrest me. Like, what would you say?
It's about two brothers.
Yeah,
yeah, it's about AI and some guys trying to stop the end of the world.
It sounds like a fake movie. So he was basically saying like, oh yeah, so there's these like two brothers and like one of them was given powers by like an AI god or something, maybe aliens, and like, one of them is a drug addict and they just, he's trying to stop the terrorism. Like, it sounds like a fake movie. So the fact that he was asked what the movie was about is just like kind of mean almost. But he made it across the border fine.
Avengers.
So when I wind up going back by myself in my car, I'm like, okay, I have my Nexus. Gael's not in the car with me anymore. I decide, I'm going to take the Nexus lane. It's shorter. This is my privilege. I get to do this for the first time. And because it was my first time, I'm assuming like, okay, go up to the fucking gate, the window, give your passport or whatever, normal procedures. I didn't know that it was different for Nexus. So I get up to the gate, the window or whatever. She's like, did you scan your Nexus? Because apparently it has an RFID chip that I was supposed to like ding on a machine before I even pulled up to the window, like fucking 10, 20 feet back or whatever. I'm like, oh, oops, I didn't do that. I didn't realize that that's what I had to do. I look behind me. There's other people behind me already. I'm like, okay, well, I can't really go back. She's like, it's fine. Just go ahead. And I'm driving for a little bit. I'm driving for like, I don't know, 30 seconds, a minute. And I realize I just crossed a border without showing any form of ID. She didn't even ask to see my Nexus. She didn't ask to see my passport. I just drove across the USA-Canada border. I didn't show any form of ID, and I literally just like, I guess I'm back in my country. but meanwhile, Gaël with the Lebanon on his passport is getting asked what fucking Neil Breen movie he watched. Asked to explain the plot of that shit. And I'd literally crossed the land border without showing any form of identification to anybody, which was very funny to me.
Was this before the brownie incident?
This was before the brownie incident.
Oh, I was going to say, you could have just linked to the brownie incident video and see, that's me.